I had a really interesting situation the other day. It just goes to show how we need people. We need energy to energy for things to work properly. So I do readings online, and people send me a photo of themselves and they send through their questions. So that was all normal. This lady had bought a reading from me. She sent through her photo and she sent through her three questions. And when I get them, I normally just open them up on the computer when they first come in, and I have a quick scan of what they're asking me. And I instantly get yep, I can see what's going to happen there. It's like this instant connection that I get. So then I write back to somebody and I say, look, thank you for the reading. Thank you for the questions. And I'll do your reading over the next day or two. So when I got her questions, I looked at them and I went, okay, they weren't abnormal questions, but something didn't feel right. So anyway, I just replied to her and said, thank you, and I'll do your reading over the next few days. So I put her name down on the list and I worked through them every day. And then I got to her name and I sat down to do her reading, and I looked at her photo and I looked back at the questions and I'm like, something's not right here. So I read the question over again. And it wasn't the question was silly or anything like that. The question was sort of a spiritually based question, sort of like, what would I need to do to create a better life? You know, something along those lines. Like, that's not that exactly, but it was along those lines. And there was three questions like that. Three questions that were, I've had people before say to me, what could I do to better myself, or something like that. So it wasn't like the question itself wasn't odd. The feeling with the question was odd. So I looked at it 3 times. I thought, no, sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I can't get a clear energy with somebody. Somebody's energy's blocking me from reading them properly. And I thought maybe this was the case. Maybe this lady was closed off and didn't really want me to read her. But she did. She bought the reading, but she may have been holding back energy. So I wrote back to her and I said, look, I can't work with those questions. There's something not quite right here. I want to do your reading, but I can't work with those questions. Would you be able to change them? And then she wrote back, she said, look, I must admit, I use ChatGPT to ask those questions. And then it all made sense. Now, nothing wrong with the lady, you know, she was just thinking, oh, I'll just use ChatGPT to ask a psychic some questions. The thing is, I'm reading energy. I'm feeling energy. And I can't feel the energy of a computer. Excuse me. I can't feel the energy of a computer. And that's what was asking me the questions, a computer. It has to come from the intention, the energy of the person who's asking me a question. It has to come from them, so it has to be authentic. And quite often when somebody asks me a question, the energy about it all knows what they want to know. Like, they might ask a question that's what they think they want to know, but their higher self gives them an answer that they really need to know, if that makes sense. So yeah, this just didn't work. Like, the ChatGPT was asking logical questions, but there was no feeling, there was no energy attached to it. So it may be great. AI may be fantastic for the future and using, I mean, I get email after email asking me if I would use ChatGPT. Well, no, because if somebody asks me a question, I have to be authentic in this work to use energy to answer it. ChatGPT cannot do that. It cannot read your energy. It cannot connect with you on that level. If you go into AI or ChatGPT and you ask, because I've done it before, and I said to them, can you predict the future? And the answer was no. The ChatGPT just said, no, I can't. So, and a lot of people say nobody can, but you know, that's an ability. If you don't have an ability, then of course you don't believe in it. But it was so interesting to me that's what I was feeling, like reading those questions and thinking there's nothing there. I can't feel the energy behind the question. And that's when somebody types to me in an email, in their written word, and they've written it from how they feel, I can read the energy a lot better. So very interesting.